Hello again, it's Abaddon Sentinel here, back with another video. It's a project again that we're doing today. This is my Chaos Knight, obviously following some of the Black Legion colours, and as I've said before, I very much enjoy my corns, so you can understand why there's red on here. Now the Chaos Knight is a Forgeworld variant of the Renegade Knight, comes with some different pieces on it. Looks a lot nicer as far as I'm concerned if you're going to be playing Chaos versions of the Knights. Obviously, as you can see, not everything's been primed. I'm still working on some things because there's going to be a lot of magnetisation goes into this project. The guns themselves, as you can see, are filled up a little bit in there. Now that's just milliput that I've put in that. Little two-part filler essentially, but it's designed so that these can slot together. I can have the different weapon choices on whenever I decide that I want that particular gun. You can see that one goes on as well. Bit of filler in there. Obviously this one, because this particular section on the gun doesn't attach normally if you're using that particular weapon, I've had to modify this slightly, cut it out and scrape some bits away to make it actually fit properly. I think I've done an okay job with that. Obviously it doesn't actually need to look 100% tidy when you're doing something like this, because Chaos itself doesn't look tidy. As you can see from the rest of the pieces, it's got a lot of mutation going on. If you look at this shoulder pad, there we go. Get that in focus. It's designed to look a bit messy, a bit battered. And this is obviously one of the replacement parts that you get with the Forgeworld kit instead of the standard shoulder pads. Very nice. It was primed with Chaos Black, like I do most of them with. Then the red sections, same for the rest of it, the red sections were painted with Mephiston red, before I then went over layering quite carefully with, I think it was Wild Rider red? It's difficult to remember at the moment, it's been a little while since I actually did this bit. But yeah, then the bone sections base coated with Rhinox hide, and then dry brushed with Rakath flesh and Ashabti bone. And you can see the little slightly glossy red down the side. That is actually blood for the blood god, and wanted to try and give the impression that the bones bursting through the armour were causing bleeding, essentially. I kind of like it, maybe not to everyone's taste, but that's how I decided to do things. I also attempted to achieve a bit of a glow effect coming from this section here. I'm not actually sure what that's supposed to be, whether it's a vent or what, but decided to basically dry brushed a bit of the Wild Rider red, followed by some Trollslayer orange and a little bit of Uriel yellow. Same on the other one. Obviously there's not as much bone on this one. The gold was done Retributor armour, shaded with Agrax Earthshade, and then mostly dry brushed on with which one was it now? I think it was Liberator Gold, I think, with some extra little highlights done with Runefang Steel on the rivets. Obviously the shield is still being worked on. Only done the trim on that so far, but I'm planning on doing the centre section as a quartered red and black colour scheme. Now obviously onto the main bulk of the Knight. This is actually magnetised at the waist. Lovely faceplate there. It's another part of the Forgeworld kit that replaces the standard faceplates you would get from the Imperial Knight kit. The bone sections and the obviously the glossy red blood is same as on the shoulder pads. Rhinox hide, Rakarth flesh or Shabti bone, a little bit of white scar on the tips, and then some blood for the blood god. On the top there, you can see the little pilot's window. I believe that was done with Macragge blue as the base, and then I just layered a couple of other lighter blue tones on top with a white streak in that top left corner. Then painted as fine as I could some Abaddon black onto the bottom right there to create the impression of it being cracked. So obviously with it being Chaos, like I said earlier, it's not supposed to look tidy, it's supposed to look a bit battered. They don't maintain things as well as the Loyalists do. They don't have the facilities to do that. So that's that one. Now the legs, you can see the frame at the back. Now this was base coated in lead belcher. There's obviously some other bits there that's what do they call it now? It's a bronze colour. What block bronze? That's the one. Struggling to remember for a second. Did most of that before then coating the entire thing with Nuln Oil and a bit of Agrax Earthshade, just to give the impression of that dirty, grimy, oily look. Now, the reason that there's not so much detail going on in the legs there, compared to with the armour panels, is while obviously it's a big part of the model, the subframe, it's not really what you're wanting people to be looking at. You know, wanting people to be looking at the decoration on it, the fancy panels and things like that. So you don't really want to colour it too much. You don't want to draw their attention to that subframe. You're showing people the panels where it's going to get the decoration, the sigils of, in this case, Chaos. Normally you would have, say, some Knight heraldry. You know, you want people to see. See if I can get that in focus. A bit more difficult with this. But yeah, you want people to see those symbols that you've spent your time and care going over. And it's basically, you know, it was following all the same kind of thing. The magnetisation is quite strong. Something like this, you want fairly strong magnets. Believe it's a 8mm magnet in the top of there. No, 10mm. 10mm wide. Like I say, I plan on magnetising these other sections as well. With regards to the modelling side of things with this project, the arms, well, shoulder joints, normally would be joined permanently there, a little swivel joint. Because I'm wanting to magnetise them to be able to swap and change between, I've basically cut that bit off. I'm going to stick magnets on there, one inside there. See if I can get that in focus. That just filled it up a little bit so that the magnet can sit close to the surface, and hopefully once I've got that done, that'll be able to sit fairly closely and you'll still get the swivel that it needs. And it's the same for the other arm. It sits on there. these sections are also for the different guns. So normally you would have this part on here with this section, and then the fuel tanks for this one. Now I'm going to magnetise those as well, so obviously I get the look of the gun correct when I swap between the different barrels that I'm putting on them. And that should, you know, just help give it a much nicer look on the tabletop. I do try and keep everything moving, since they are supposed to be articulated joints. I like to be able to reposition things. This one, unfortunately, I haven't done that with, simply because the joint actually moved far enough that this little piston piece kept coming out. So that is actually stuck in there with a combination of, it goes into the milliput that I put in there ready for the magnet to stick on, and a bit of super glue keeping it stuck in there as well. One thing I would point out on this is this particular section here is actually a slight modification that I made. Now you wouldn't normally see that on that gun barrel. What that is actually cut off one of the guns in the Hellbrute kit. And I just thought it would make a nice little addition there once I've filled and smoothed down the gap. I think that'll look quite nice as a little addition onto that. Just an extra little bit to help separate it from what the Loyalist ones look like. Drilled through the holes there as well, which you might be able to see. There we go. Drilled through those holes. It's not necessary. You don't have to do it, but I quite like the slightly more authentic thing with the holes through there. That's what the gun barrel would look like. So yeah, that is my Chaos Knight. Hopefully you found it interesting seeing that. It's obviously this Forgeworld model rather than the standard Games Workshop stuff that I've already shown. You know, it's a bit of a different material as resin to work with. Obviously it primes the same. Goes a little bit more preparation has to go into putting it together. But other than that, it's the same when it comes to painting as you would do with any other model once it's primed. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, why don't you like, comment or subscribe to my channel. If you want to see some more in the future, I've got plenty more to show. Just depends as and when I can get these videos recorded and uploaded. Abaddon is going to be coming along soon. I'm going to do the video in a couple of different parts, just so you can see. I'm hopefully going to be cracking on with him this weekend. He is primed. He is waiting. Well, yeah. See you again soon.